Welcome to Sports Scope, the most influential sports talk show in the nation.
What is today, the 19th?
Stay tuned for updates and great sports content.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Sports Scope. I'm your host, Robert Butler, on this 5th day of April. Got Carlos Mad New Yorker Chavez backstage, as always, on Friday. Mr. Dependable. Got to get his take on this Caitlin Clark phenom. Phenomenal ratings last week. Plus, hey, check it out. We got a game here in 2 hours, right? Actually, an hour and so. Stefon Diggs, got to ask him about the Knicks and probably throw in a few other topics as well. Stand by. We'll take our first and only break, and we'll be back here in 49 seconds. We'll hit the ground running here on Sports Scope. Hello, Sports Scope followers. The program has seen tremendous growth since going 5 days a week. I just wanted to thank everybody for your cash contributions and sharing the program with friends and families. Just a reminder, if you want to contribute to the program, go to the Cash App, the cash sign, and Sports Scope. There are other ways to contribute to the program listed at the bottom of the screen. If you want to advertise on the program, go to sports, that is sports with an S, another S, scope, SKOPE, at gmail.com, just like it's listed at the bottom of the screen. Thank you and enjoy the program. All righty then, I'm back here live and got Carlos Mad New Yorker Chavez on the screen here. Hey, buddy, how you doing tonight, man?
Hey, what's up? Can you hear me?
You feel a lot better today than last week?
A lot better.
All right, good deal, man. Hey, let me ask you, since we got the game coming up in a little over an hour or so, 12.3 million people watched. What was it, Monday or Tuesday? Was it Tuesday? I think it was Monday. It was Monday because I watched the whole game. I was doing, Monday's game, this women's game. It doubled the finals, NBA finals ratings last year, higher ratings than, I want to say it doubled the World Series ratings. We're talking high-end college football ratings. I mean, it's unbelievable. What's your thoughts on that? Why there's so much interest there?
Well, I think there's a little bit of history, on the side of Caitlin. She
and Angel Reese.
Yeah, and there's a little rivalry going on, and on top of that, the last game they played, a lot of people missed that one. And they wanted to see what was this? Was this a real rivalry? Was this going to be a situation that Iowa could beat a team like LSU? So it had a little bit of interest, piqued a lot of people's interest in college basketball. I'm surprised that it reached the numbers that it did, being an NCAA women's basketball game. But
yeah,
that's good for the game. It's growing the sport of women's basketball on all levels, right? Because a lot of these women are going to move on to professional league next season. And so, I think also what kind of don't want to talk about is LSU's coach and her situation. A lot of people were like, what's she doing? What's going on? They wanted to see, if she was mean to.
Oh, because she was beefing with the Washington Post.
About the story that they let out, and they called her about. So there's a lot of little stories going on, and so there was a wider spectrum of people that it made interested, and the game became something that was a lot better than people expected as well. So
did you watch any of the game yourself?
I watched a quarter of it. I was in and out doing stuff, trying to get better. So
it sucks having to play hurt like that and get over a sickness, and it was a lot of it I liked. A lot of defense, right? Like the offense was, took a little bit, but those girls played defense, and you could tell it was a championship game for sure. So I like what I saw.
I told you that Caitlin's a quick shooter, man. So like
she was popping them fast, wasn't she?
Yeah. So
I posted some of that. I don't know if you got a chance. By the way, I'm back on Facebook, so that was me that added you as a friend. I had to start a new account. Don't got many friends on there, but I'm working it back up. But I put some videos of her. I mean, I compared it to, I don't know how much NBA, how far you go back when you was really watching it, but 1992 Bulls, Portland, Jordan, 39 points. I want to say 12 assists. She had 41 points, 12. I mean, it was I said the only thing missing is her just putting her hands out. Jordan was really
like
tearing Clyde Drexler a new one.
Yeah, Terry Porter's head just shaking and
okay, you do remember that.
Yeah, man.
Well, it's a while back. We were like 11, but I was really, really playing every day, dude. I was thinking I was going to get in the NBA myself, and that's when they did the Like Mike commercial, right? That summer.
Yeah.
The Gatorade commercial. And she's crossing people up. She did I don't know if you caught that behind the back dribble, cuts right through that defense like a hot knife through butter. I mean, this chick has got to finish like a Kyrie, right?
She was not going to be denied.
Yeah.
She is in focus mode right now. I wouldn't want to see her practice because you're not going to get anything from that at all. You just expect the whole gamut because I told you, man, she's a baller. And her height,
straight ball, coordinated,
right? Yeah, and her height don't have anything to do with anything that she wants to accomplish. Like she don't, and I think that's one of the things that makes her a tough cookie. Like us short people, and I say that respectfully. You and I, we about the same.
Yeah, I'm a good 5'8", 5'7".
So I say
slumping over.
I say that in a sense where who like how we wanted to play the game that we liked and enjoyed, but we were just. We just had to hang out in the 3-point line or we were going to get crushed, but we you were a pretty good shooter. We were pretty good shooters. So, we can hang a little bit, but I mean, she just took it to another level, man. And the thing about her is that she makes her teammates better. Right.
Yes.
It's like Jordan, like he made as much as he could take the game over. He also made the team better.
They were passing it. They looked like a quicker team. That was not the story last year against LSU. LSU totally out athleticized them last year, dominated. They still got the edge on the boards, but they look quicker than LSU.
I think for this year, they played more run and gun. They played more with, you have the opportunity to take it to the basket. If you don't bring it back out, there wasn't as many set plays.
Yeah.
Right. Last year it was more set plays, running her there and getting a double team and passing in the middle. Like this year it looked more like fluid, just take the ball and whoever's got it, make the first.
Now that you there's a little bit of Steve Nash to Phoenix Suns.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Because people are like, well, we don't want her to get everybody else involved if you're trying to beat Iowa. And that's what Kim Mulkey said.
Mm-hmm. And even this guy was like, I don't want to see her play. I don't want to.
Mulkey, the coach for LSU after the game,
No, she gave her props, but the coach from Connecticut, what's his name?
Gino Auriemma.
Gino Auriemma. I'd rather watch her play. Now I gotta play her. Like what the heck? He wasn't hoping to see her at all. So that's
true.
So so well, we'll see.
Do you think what's your? I know I don't really watch a lot of college women's. I mean, I was a big Candace Parker fan, Taurasi, Lisa Leslie, those players. But I've heard of Miller's sister, Cheryl. I think Caitlin's probably the most skilled I've ever seen. What's your take on where does she really? She's got all the records.
Right.
But championships, when you take a team like Iowa, Jason Whitlock, and I reference him a lot, these guys make some good points. This is like taking Indiana State, Larry Bird, 1979, to the
Right.
national championship. Since we've grown up, what has Indiana State ever done? Not
Yeah.
Indiana. That's Bob Knight, Indiana State.
Right. Well, we had a player like that at Austin P. I don't know if you remember Brooke Armistead.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
she was.
Well, he was before we got there, but we heard about him.
No, I was there.
No, remember that one guy got one guy. Oh, I thought you were talking about the guy who made it to the NBA that played for Minnesota.
No, Trent Hassel. No.
Oh, Hassel. Yeah.
No, I'm talking about Brooke Armistead. She was right around with us. And
Okay.
she carried that team. She was like one of the
He
most.
was more into the women's game at that. I wasn't that much into the. Now the men's, I follow them a whole lot. You know,
Right.
I know Coach Dave Luce, and I've interviewed him. And he's the AD.
Yeah, like so.
Did they win a game in the tournament?
Who, the women's?
The women's.
No, they didn't.
But
make it.
Armstead,
They went to
what
the
did she go
tournament
on to do,
twice.
man?
Yeah, they went twice, but they didn't make it far.
Okay.
But like, I mean, she carried the team, man. She nice shooter, like, good 3-point shooter. She was very physical inside for her position.
Yeah.
It's tough to compare women players because, again, like you said, the team. I don't want to take nothing away from Taurasi, but she's maybe a combination of Taurasi and maybe Sue Bird. Like, just.
There's Nigel all the way from Australia, mate. Yeah, we're talking women's college basketball. They got 12.3 million views.
Right.
I mean, that's they're beating the NBA finals by double. I mean, this chick is bad, man.
I was trying to. I wasn't gonna say like, look, just enjoy.
I saw her last year. I've watched some of their games during the Fox would put some of their games on. I've watched a few of their games. I couldn't believe I did, but I did.
You know what? Just if you get an opportunity to watch it, just watch the game. I mean, don't everybody always tries to the expectation level is so high sometimes.
Yeah.
Like sometimes even in men's sports, the expectation is so high. You put on the game and you're like, "What is this on TV?"
I'm recording it, so don't tell me nobody if anybody's watching.
I wasn't expecting. You like the matchup, but you're not expecting what came out on the like what goes on the field or on the court. Or just like
that may have been one of the best games I've ever for college women's. I'm not trying to go too far.
All right, I'm glad you watched it,
dude.
I told you, and you were asking me about how was she doing 3-on-3, and I was like, as long as she shoots, she'll be all right.
Now that's a men's tournament. With that quick release, she'll probably score something. But
I'm telling you, she can.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised if she couldn't. So, and like again, those guys are older. Remember, they're like semi-pros and older.
But I was telling you, they've got some younger guys too.
Yeah,
but those guys wouldn't stars. I mean, they're mid-level players.
She is a basketball player through and through.
Yeah.
We are lucky as fans to be able to watch players like her come up and do her thing and just, whatever she earns, she's worked for. So you
could tell that her and her father and family, she's put in a lot of work to get that good.
Like you
just don't show up to practice and play like this. It don't work that way.
Exactly. Right. And I was hearing stories this morning, and I was like looking around, and she actually grew up liking Connecticut, right? She never got.
Oh yeah, and they didn't recruit her.
Right, and they didn't even recruit her. She wanted to stay closer to home anyway, so she was highly recruited by Notre Dame, Indiana, and what was the other team? There was like 3 teams that really.
You got a scoop. I didn't know that.
In Iowa, right? So they were so she was highly recruited by those 3 teams, and she just wanted to stay close to home, and she did.
Does she have Deion Sanders' voice in the ear saying it's personal? It's personal.
Yo, we come
drop a 50 burger tonight.
Here's the thing: she could score 25 points, 22.5 points, and Iowa will still win because of what she does on the court.
She led the team in rebounds. She's only like, I don't know why people keep saying she's 6 foot. Everything I read saying she's 5'11" and still balling out. I mean, it's 1 inch, but she's 5'11".
This man is complaining about the inch he didn't get when he listen, Rob.
Well,
She
She played like she was 6'5" when she put that step back three on Angel Reese, stretched her out, didn't she?
She's had some cool moments on tape with a lot of these players, and it's not going to stop. She's a baller, and if you get an opportunity, man, and you don't like women's basketball, just watch one game and watch her play, and she's
fun to watch. I like it more than the men's tournament, dude. I mean, men's okay, but it's kudos to Connecticut men's. What's your thoughts about Angel Reese crying afterwards and saying she got death threats or stuff? I'm thinking, I forgive her for some of the crap she did last year, but I'm thinking, why didn't you mention this before?
If there's something like that going on, that should have been something to handle inside house anyway.
That's what I said. Exactly.
And, I'm not going to take away.
She's kind of playing it up a little bit. She
had a good season. She
did.
She got a championship anyways. So
20 rebounds. She had a twisted ankle. I think she grew up a lot. She was feeling herself after they won that championship. She got a lot of NIL stuff. Did you remember that? I don't know if you recall this, but I read this or whatever. But the coach there suspended her during the regular season. She's kind of getting lost into the fame thing,
I mean, well, the
NIL stuff and kind of just.
Sometimes these college athletes forget that school is in session, right? Like you still gotta, and I ain't gonna play. I'm not gonna lie. There's times where I was like that, and I was we weren't even athletes, and we was just acting cool sometimes, right? So that happens because you're young and you're in school and you're a
lot of distractions at times.
A lot of distractions, yeah, man. And so I mean, look, she had her career. She has a future that she can. Start
with a few million in NIL.
Yeah, and so I think she's gonna be okay. I like that they had the opportunity to repeat, but they didn't. That's the sad part.
Yeah.
And that coach, the coaches need to the reason why these women are where they're at is because the coaches are like high intensity. So
yeah.
I can't sit here and tell people that their coaches need to calm down. Their coaches just, as long as they're being.
Yeah, I didn't know that Kim Mulkey's got 4 national champ. She's up there with Pat Summitt, and I don't know how many that Gino or I know he may have 6 or 7. But you get more than 2, you've got my respect. You get 1, right, but still more than 1.
He got like 50 like championships. The way he act, he's up there, man. Like.
Yeah,
he deserves a respect. He's done what he has to do, and call girls out and make sure that they play better. He's that's his style. That's what he does, and it's college basketball for women, and there are championships that are up at stores for a reason. Connecticut produces top caliber college women basketball players after even if they're recruited like as low as 3 and 4. Like he's picked up a lot of women players in the past who weren't in the top 5 ranking and made them better players. So
he has he's tough to beat, man. That guy. Yeah. Now the talent spread out more now. Now you're starting to see LSU. You're starting to see South Carolina, Baylor under Kim Mulkey when she was there. So it's not like it was when we were in school 20 years ago, where it was either Tennessee or Connecticut, but really it was Connecticut until Tennessee got Candace Parker there for a while. Then, of course, you get a mega star like that. She wins 2 national championships. Hey, let's switch gears to the pro game. So the Knicks, big win last night.
Oh, they hustle, man.
Well, I really like Josh Hart. What's your thoughts on Josh Hart's role on this team, man? I mean, he's really coming into his own, ain't he?
I thought it was a risky pickup. I like that it's coming moving forward because he has a good attitude. He has a worker mentality. He knows that he can actually get better as well. This system fits. Well, the fact that they got the 3 Nova players, I think helps just your attitude, and you don't feel like you're in it for with yourself, right? You got 3 other guys, and they've been to school together, so they know each other. and they can feed off each other better. And they got a championship together in college, so that mentality.
Man, that's off the hook. I mean, that's really hard to find that in the pros.
Right. They got a three-headed monster in a different retrospect. They got a three-headed monster in finding being able to work together, work ethic, and teamwork. So and that right now is constituting in a lot of wins without Randall, even before the situation is what it is now.
Right. Yeah. They beat the Kings. I forgot who they played last night. Yeah, beat the Kings, a playoff team that's good.
Right.
Lakers can't beat the Kings, and Lakers are beating everybody right now, except for maybe Denver and Boston.
So Josh Hart's been mentioning that he has a sore ankle, a sore wrist.
Yeah,
and he's mentioned it a few times, and I feel like he shouldn't say anything. He had a great game last night. As far as what actually wrong with him, if he's physically, he's even mentioned he likes to rest. Physically, like unable to move forward, shooting the ball, they're gonna leave him out there by himself and allow him to keep shooting because they know his wrist is not 100%. So
man,
if I'm Tibbs, I'm like, just either rest him and let him get back to health for the playoffs, or keep playing him. But then, that everybody knows he's hurting, and and all the players know, even from their own team, they know that he's exhausted and tired because he's one of the options, right? He's playing 30 plus minutes, easy, 35.
Man, yeah, yeah. And I don't think he even played. What did he play when Randall was in there? And what about Anunoby? Is he back?
So today he's available to play. I don't think he'll play today.
Got to be Brunson, I would say.
The Knicks' greatest threat right now is their coach.
No, threat meaning like who's their best player?
Yeah,
well, it's got to be Brunson, right?
Brunson is the one right now playing 40 minutes plus, 45 minutes plus.
Are you concerned that maybe they're going to be injured come playoff time and not be able to win a series?
All the time that Thibodeau does that, they always have injuries during or after or within the playoff situation. So they can't stretch out the bench right now because the players aren't all there yet. They're getting players back slowly. They're not at 100%.
Yeah.
Mitchell Robinson.
Do you think this is a blessing in disguise that he's getting a season-ending surgery?
I think this is something that the Knicks should have saw the first time they got him. I never liked the pickup for Randall.
Okay.
I didn't think he had any more potential than what he was putting out with the Lakers. When they got him, sure, he looks like a different player because he's on a different coast and they play a little bit different here. All these teams have had issues on defense, and all these teams have struggled in the playoffs in this division. If you want to talk about 76ers, Boston, even
particularly Randall. I love Randall. I like the way he plays, but he is bad in the playoffs.
I do not want to take away from his game and what he's able to accomplish. But what I do want to say is that he was not going to be the piece to move the Knicks up and above where they were at. Now, they made the playoffs, but again, this is a division that has struggled. This is an area where if any team, even like then the Hawks beat the Knicks in the first round of playoffs, didn't they?
Yeah, a few years ago. Yeah.
So I'm just saying, like,
but they got a series win last year over
the opportunity.
Pretty talented Cleveland team last year.
Yeah, I'm sure you could call it talent. I call it luck. Again, these Northeast Division Atlantic Coast teams are not, aside from Boston and
Boston. Wow.
And then what do you call it? The Milwaukee Bucks? They're in the Eastern Division too, right? So aside from those two teams, it just kind of falls from there to be rated as the top teams. I mean, you're rated because of the division, and there's not that much competition. So, but this year, the teams have gotten a little bit better. Indiana.
How many do you watch a lot of the Knicks games? And like Nigel, that's a good question. how deep do you think that they'll go in the playoffs as far as using the bench? You know, a lot of teams they shorten their bench in the playoffs.
Right. No, and Tibbs doesn't do that.
You think he'll play 9 or 10 guys?
He doesn't have the option right now to shorten the bench, and I think that's what frustrates him. But I think that's actually going to benefit him in the long run. Like, he doesn't play off of his own scheme very well in the players that he has, anyways. So I've said this, and I've always mentioned this on all the shows I go on. Like, I don't have nothing.
Well, you're the opposite of Rostano. You and John. Yeah, John's a lot more optimistic.
I mean, you have to be optimistic because you want to win, but you have to be realistic because you're not winning, or your trajectory isn't.
So you do think that he's going to play that many?
He has
9 guys.
Yeah, he's going to have to play 9 players. Mitchell Robinson isn't 100%. They have Herrnstein's sort of in and out. Hart now has that wrist injury that is not going to sit out for it.
Yeah, I just noticed they're playing right now, and they're down. Now they're coming off a back-to-back.
Yeah, well,
I think they're losing to the Bulls as we speak.
This is going to be something that they'll make the first round of the playoffs. I don't. Yeah. And if they win, they won't win more.
They're right there for that 4th seed, so they would get home court.
Yeah, but that's
a
positive, but that's not going to help that team right now. I don't know. I mean, here's the thing, and you have to set yourself up for success. And you're going to go to playoffs again, but just move away from Randall, right? I've always said if the team was 27 and younger, the way that Tibbs coaches, they'll be a lot better. When they start bringing in people that are older because they want that veteran mindset, it slows the game down. Brunson doesn't play. He plays with speed. He's more of a up and down kind of player. So you want to bring in, let's say right now, free agency, you have Paul George next season, for next season. Let's say, he's on one of the free agents, right? Why would you bring him in? He's older. He's got injuries for left.
I was about to bring that back up.
Don't
Giannis, go ahead. Go ahead.
I would be on the fence about Giannis. If he really wants to be here, I'll bring him in. But I would not pay him to come in, because now you put Giannis in the mix. Yeah, he's going to get you rebounds. He's going to get you interior, this and that, and the defense. But if he gets hurt or if something happens, what do you have to do to play without Giannis, right? Right now, the Knicks don't need Randall. They've been playing without him anyways.
Yeah.
And
like with those 4 picks, and I was going to do a little subtext here. It looks like this is not going to work out with Doc Rivers and the Damian Lillard thing.
I told you it wasn't going to work out. They got older.
Yeah.
Right?
Now, they got older as a team, but Giannis being 30 and playing with this group and playing with this sense of urgency, I think it would give him a big surge, to play. There's 3 years there. They've got those 4 first-round picks that they can use that for leverage to possibly make a move. I think that would be awesome to get a guy like a Giannis to get him over the hump to get the championship. Yeah. When they went 72 with Phil Jackson, is that the last time they won? I know they won with Phil Jackson as a player. This is way before our time.
Wasn't that 74, something like that? Well,
72, 74. Yeah, he had that very hippie look at. Yeah. So, he didn't win they didn't win when we were kids. No. I pulled for him at times. I wanted him to beat that Bulls team, but it just feels like Brunson's a pretty special player. Giannis wants another ring, and this would really help Giannis's legacy. And as far as the Bucks, I was telling John this yesterday. They had Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in '69. They won the championship with Kareem.
Mm-hmm.
And same thing with Giannis. And now both of those players, I could see both of them. Well, obviously Kareem did move on with the Lakers and won more championships.
Right.
If I'm a Milwaukee fan, I'm okay with it. I forgive him, and you get some players and start over. I mean, maybe they have one more year left in them, but with Lillard being 33, 34, and you got Brook Lopez, 36, they're going to have to get younger, you know?
They should have got younger
this year.
but they went the other way. I told you that was going to happen. And what's funny that you say that is because a lot of teams did that. A lot of teams got older, right? Like I don't.
Except for Boston, other than Horford,
right?
Porzingis is a pretty young guy, you know.
Yeah, and all right, but I mean, I say this, and I'm not trying. It's not ageism. It's just that it's a different basketball game now. Basketball is different now. The guys are running up and down and they're shooting the ball anyway. So, you if you get the older guys, you got to slow the game down, and you got to not just slow the game down, but then now you got to run things that they're used to running, right? You take this guy Brunson who's zigzagging everywhere, and now you're forcing him to change his mindset, and that's going to change his game, right? Look what he did when Luka was out of the game for Dallas because of injury, right?
Yeah.
Brunson was able to play a more open because Luka is a one-on-one player, so they have to set him up.
You're not in love with that Giannis pickup.
I don't, and to be honest, if this will sound strange, but I'd rather the Knicks pick up Luka or Jokic or a player like that than pick up Giannis. And I say that because
it'd be tough getting Dallas to give up. Maybe if they get beat early in the playoffs, I don't know.
The 4 picks.
Well, you have to give up the farm to get Luka. That would be hard to get that ticket. Luka and the two teammates played together, didn't they? Yeah.
So then Brunson would have and then he would still have the 2 other guys that he played and won a championship with and Nova on the team.
The heart.
You bring Luka in, and you got at least chemistry. Yeah. It's not going to be like the best, but you have
who carries the ball up
when you bring
both of them like to carry that rock. I guess it would be Brunson.
Yeah. You just give it to Brunson.
Yeah, I mean they work together. I mean, and you got a hard driven coach like a Tibbs that can keep Luka in shape. I'm all for it if you can get Dallas to give up Luka.
I don't. And if you have someone like that,
that would be great for the game, wouldn't it?
That would be great for New York. All those Europeans will come into the Garden. The ones that left when Porzingis left, they've come back to the Garden, and it'd be nice. It'd just be different. I mean, the Knicks don't need to get older. They need to stay under 27. The game has changed.
How old is Karl Anthony Towns? John brought him up last night. Is he around that age, 27?
The only thing about Towns, I like him. The only thing about Towns is that he gets cold fast.
Yeah, he does.
Can you keep him working? Can you keep him motivated? Can you keep him
28? Yeah, he's right in his prime. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I like his game. I like that he goes up. I don't see him being consistent. That was one of the things that I don't like about his game, right?
Yeah, it's a lot of limited players. It's really hard to get that big air quote superstar.
Yeah, even if they got Siakam, he's still under the age of 30. A few players. There's a couple.
Siakam would be great if they can find a way to get Siakam.
Just stop and stop trying to sell jerseys. I want to watch basketball, and I want
you want chemistry players.
Yeah, man.
That's why I said don't get Donovan Mitchell. I don't know what.
No. You don't.
Stephen A. Smith is saying about that. He's crazy talk right there.
Oh man, he wants it because he wants them on the team, but that's not. The team needs players that want.
You go the other way with Mitchell. He's too ball centric.
You know who I would even pick up, and it's not for nothing, but I'm just talking about age wise. Is even Caleb Martin. A guy you need hard.
Caleb Martin, who is he with now?
Right now he's with Miami, isn't he?
Miami?
Yeah, I think he's still with Miami.
Yeah, Miami's got a lot of guys nobody's really heard of until they play in the playoffs. Right? Gabe Vincent.
I wrote down a few guys maybe Sadiq Bey, from the Hawks.
Yeah.
There was this one guy from Orlando.
So you don't want their shooting guard, do you?
No, we don't need shooting guards. They need a power forward and a small forward, maybe.
Yeah.
I'm even
need a wing, huh? Need a wing that can score.
I'm even thinking maybe Buddy Hield, but Buddy Hield, he has
Indians all across team sports with one or two experience levels had steady hands, crucial moments, in my opinion, across all sports. Yeah, I mean,
we don't need the Knicks are guard heavy. They don't need a guard. They need a
yeah.
couple guys.
Carlos wants everybody to be right in their prime, Nigel. And I say, long as a guy can hang in there, you really need him for the playoffs, you know.
Yeah. Like,
But
look at
Siakam, if they could get Siakam, would be a good play. I think because Siakam will play hard. He will play defense.
and maybe even Charlotte's Miles Bridges. I like Bridges. I like
Yeah.
his tenacity.
Yeah, he brings that grit too. That,
right.
that,
you know, like I want
what
those
you
kind
call
of
it
players.
likes.
I would like the Knicks to have those kind of play, like gritty guys, just go at them because that's, you know,
Kind of need some scoring too, though.
yeah. I mean, they can score. These guys can score. Like, you know, they can average about 20 points, all of them. So, you know, if Brunson's scoring 30, 40 points, you don't really, and he's got the ball.
Maybe he needs to get that down, though. You know,
I mean,
probably need to get that down to about 25 and get about 9 to 12 assists tonight to get everybody else involved.
well, when you had a player like Randall who you give him the ball and he still can't score, making
They
his own
need
shot.
they need a Randall size, but a guy that which would be Towns has been injured here lately, though.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
don't- I said, I'm
you're right. Luka would be perfect for this team. In a perfect world.
or even Jokic. I like the you know, just move the ball.
Denver?
Yeah, I like Jokic.
Well, of course, yeah.
You know,
Everybody they wanted Michael Jordan in 94 too, or 92.
I would rather, to be honest with you, I would if I was the GM, I would go Jokic. I would go this guy, what's his name? Oh my, I just forgot his name. From Dallas,
Luka.
Luka, and then maybe Giannis. The problem with Giannis, again,
I just think Giannis may not be happy in Milwaukee. They
I
might
don't
be able to
know.
get the right, you know.
what you would get out of Giannis in New York. Did he put too much out in Milwaukee? Like, if we get him, I don't want it to be like one of those situations where you got a big guy and then he's just a big guy sitting on the like coming on and off the bench. Like, you don't want that. You want if you want Giannis, you want him to be a superstar. And I don't know if coming from Milwaukee, he could still be that superstar, right? Because
he might want to take a step back.
that's what I'm saying. That's what
He's been carrying Milwaukee on his shoulders for years.
Right. But if you're going to give him money, you can't take a step back. You know, like.
Well, he's not step back money, just step back and roll and.
Right. That's what. That's why you have to put more people.
Play that pick and roll with him and Jalen.
That's why I would with Giannis. You're not going to get him running back and forth.
He needs to play like a Tim Duncan. That's what I would tell him.
Yeah,
it's about Giannis at this point in his career. He needs to play that high pick and roll like the way that's what I wanted him and Lillard to play.
Right,
but you can't get it every night. Lillard is he's more ball centric than I thought, and he just cannot play defense. You know, he's not the. I guess, you know, a lot of his bad flaws we didn't really pay attention to on the East because he plays out in Portland. But I didn't realize how many flaws he's got. Did you see that game? They gave up all those that huge lead to the Lakers.
The thing with him being in Portland is that they were a winning team, but they were not in the playoffs, right? They were either.
Well, they did, but they weren't a real threat.
Right. So they were not deep enough to go. If they were in the playoffs, they weren't deep enough to go in.
And they never had an inside presence there.
Right.
They needed a Sabonis.
So that's what. That's what. See, exactly. That's now you're not on the same kind of like they need a European middle. I think they should resign him, keep him.
I love Hart. He's really having a great year.
Like and you know what? And I told people 2 seasons ago when Tibbs was he needs to play those people that he has on the bench. And guess who was there on the bench? Hartenstein.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah.
Remember I said that? I was like, why you got all these young guys just
he had that guy he picked up from Orlando. I can't remember his name last year. He kept him on the bench forever.
Fournier?
Yeah. He finally moved off Fournier.
Because Fournier is exactly what will happen if you get guys who are older than 30 32 is
Yeah.
they're going to want to pick spots. You got to slow the game down, and but they're good shooters, but you got to slow the game down. And the Knicks are young, and they can't. They'll disrupt their mentality.
Yeah.
Their mentality.
That's his job as a coach to tell them, like he used to tell the Bulls, breathe. You know. Hey, let me move on to. I got to get to this other story here. Stefon Diggs, man, what a trade, dude!
What a trade!
Second round pick. What's your thoughts on? Let's talk about the Buffalo perspective first. They get a second round pick. You know what I think about Diggs? I think they should have moved off of him last year, but I didn't think they could get somebody to take that salary on.
He just keeps being the stepping stool to a better team, and it's only his fault and his attitude, but. I mean, he's making money at the end of this as well, though. You know, he's going to pick up some good qualifying, money on this.
Yeah, $22 million fully guaranteed this year.
So Minnesota got rid of him and got Justin Jefferson, right?
No. Yes.
Yeah.
Which I said was the right move. They drafted Jefferson the first round.
Right.
It might have been the early second. Pushed his way out of Minnesota.
Yep.
They're winning the playoff game against New Orleans. He's complaining he don't get the ball enough in a win, and in the offseason moved on to Buffalo, had his best year one with Allen. And then they got Jefferson, a much better player, and without the cost and the headache. And now 4 years later, does the same thing with Buffalo. Then he goes on a hot and upcoming
Texans.
Houston team.
Texans.
I told you, I just think that I'm more concerned about his effect on a young 23-year-old CJ Stroud in that team chemistry. ESPN's like, they're going to win the Super Bowl. And Fox Sports is listen to Mark Schlereth, our guy, Mark Schlereth, if I could get this thing into play. He's the only national known personality 3 times. This guy won a Super Bowl with Joe Gibbs in 91, 92. And then he also won 2 with John Elway.
That's right.
So I'm going to play it real quick, and hopefully it'll come through. I want you guys to hear it. Nigel, you'll love this if my phone will act right. Very funny. Very funny. And I hope I can get it played. With my luck, I probably won't, but we shall see. Owuku Saki, Mark Schlereth. Come on, Mark. Don't let me down, man. Don't let me down. He
don't let nobody down. He tells it how it is, man. I like him.
I know. I just want it to get played because it's so funny, man. Of course, I'm having phone problems. I'm wait a minute. Here it is.
Stefon Diggs has been traded from Buffalo
Mark
to the
Schlereth,
Houston
everybody.
Texans. Right. What is your immediate reaction to it?
Good for Buffalo, but I'm not sure it's the right move for Houston. I worry about bringing that guy in because everywhere that guy goes, there turns out to be a problem eventually.
Maybe Stefon Diggs has worn out his welcome in Minnesota. Maybe he wore it out in Buffalo, but not before he played at a really high level and they won a lot of football games.
I mean, you have got the makings of a great young football team. Why would you bring that guy in? You know, I go back to my time at ESPN, became buddies with Jerome Bettis. We worked together for several years. And Jerome once said something that I use to this day all the time, and I'll credit Jerome. We were just talking about, different guys and bringing guys into your locker room. And he said this to me. He goes, if everywhere you go it smells like shit, it's probably you.
Yeah. That's the name of his podcast, The Stinking Truth here. The other medias, they talk about it. I'm more concerned. The next day when I said that on this program, Carlos, then I read that Houston adjusts he had 3 years left. Houston gives him a 1-year deal.
Yeah.
I said, so they could get everything out of him.
Right.
And I'm saying right now, and I'll admit if I'm wrong, I'll own it. He's not going to sign an extension with them because they're going to see how much he's going to affect Stroud. But they think that they're going to get max effort from him. 125 catches
Yeah,
6 touch, one of those crazy seasons,
Yeah, because his contract is incentive based. So
well, yeah, a lot of it is, and
so
he wants to go play with his brother.
No, I mean, it don't matter if he wants to hang out with his brother and drink at the bar or whatever. That don't matter. What matters is that the Texans did themselves a favor by going back on the deal, and which will make it look like it's on him. Play your best, and we'll sign you again, and we'll give you more money.
You know how it is in fantasy football. I used to have a list. I was telling John this of players who were on contract years because you get the best out of them.
Yeah. And then after the contract year, they that injury riddled.
Yeah, so I just think that was addition by subtraction. Yes. Buffalo fans are a little worried. They lost that production. That's what the draft's for. I talked about this also with John yesterday. Tyreek Hill moved on from him. They've won 2 Super Bowls. Green Bay Packers trade Devontae Adams to the Raiders, get second-round picks and another conditional pick. Packers look like they're cooking with gas. The Raiders are a mess, as they usually are, and Adams is miserable. You could say, well, what about the other way? What about A.J. Brown? Well, that A.J. Brown was playing with a guy like Ryan Tannehill, who had to depend on it. This is Josh Allen, one of the top-end quarterbacks in the league. Plus they got about $30 million off the cap over 2 years, and a second-round pick for this guy. Yeah, but I can't believe they got that much for a guy that's going to be 30.
It's Buffalo, and I've always said that they will always have problems getting people up there in free agency. So no, it's true. Yeah,
it's freezing up there,
and
a lot of snow,
and because of that, it's hard for them to build something up there. And I mean, they try, they've done well. I kind of say negative things about Buffalo, but the only thing Buffalo has right now is a quarterback, and I don't know how much longer he's going to stay there. As much as he likes Buffalo and they like him, eventually you want to go somewhere to win. And if the team isn't prepared to give you that as a quarterback, and you're the money man, you would take your services somewhere else.
I feel like he's John Elway of this era. He needs a running game. He needs a Terrell Davis, a Mike Shanahan, and possibly Sean McDermott could get fired this year, and they could get that guy. But also back to the Diggs situation, Cole Kmet's a pretty good. I mean, you could tell he's a good. Not Cole Kmet, Dalton Kincaid, the tight end. Mm-hmm. This guy's a really good athlete, man.
But I mean,
now you don't have Stephon Diggs pressuring the quarterback. Give me the ball. Give me the ball. Now you can just kind of play within the offense. I think it's going to be a huge blessing for them.
The biggest problem the Bills have is the fact that they have a quarterback, because he's a type of quarterback that wants to run the ball, and they depend on his legs. They weren't running the running back. They finally started running the running backs like 6 games into the season, man. And you're like, oh no,
they got a lot better with James Cook.
Yeah, so it's like,
yeah.
And even in the
now you're talking about Khalif Shakur. I forgot the other guy they picked up from Washington. The Commanders. They got a guy from the Commanders the other day. During the offseason.
Do you believe the Bills will be a playoff team this coming
season? I think they'll be a threat. We haven't even had the draft yet, man.
Yeah, the draft.
AJ Hamler.
Hey, brother, that ain't a deep draft, man.
Well, it is a deep. Okay, just like everybody said this about Kansas City, I was one of those people. They got a ring.
I wasn't. I told you that they was young and fast.
No, you said they was old, messed up like I did. I had to go back and rewind the tape. Yeah. Then you picked the 49ers in the Super Bowl. You're killing me, Smalls.
Check the tape. And I did pick the 49ers because everybody was telling me this guy was a techno geek and he can handle it. And
you know what? I didn't send you this. Speaking of the Chiefs, did you see that Rashid Rice last week?
With the Lamborghini?
Yeah. He owned that Corvette. He was leasing that Lamborghini, and it looks like they were street racing. And he also looks like he had left the scene of an accident. What's your thoughts about that?
Man, you got all the opportunity in the world to just borrow a racetrack all over the South. There's like 5 of them in the regional area where they're from. Like,
Yeah, this was in Dallas. You know they got racetracks in Dallas.
Yeah, they he could have easily put down a few dollars and been like, yo, let's race it at the racetrack. Been real about the situation, but you want to race it in the streets for what? Like a 17-year-old on a Saturday night at 2:00 in the morning. Come on,
it was 6 in an hour.
But I get what you're saying. I'm just saying,
when me and you met, we was both about 22. Could you imagine? This is my point about that. When you look in your ATM machine, and let's just be conservative here. You've got agent fees, you got high taxes, you got $560,000 in cash, and you're 22 years old. You've been in 23. You've been in 2 Super Bowls. That's really hard for some guys to not act crazy and act like they're in a rap video, like they're in a DMX. You know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to but if I'm a coach, I'm saying, listen, you got to really get a grip on yourself, because I understand the type of adrenaline that is running in your head, that you want to act crazy because you got this money, your ego's tripping right now, and you gonna go street race. Those vets are hard to come by. You know, he was paying $17.50 a day for that level. He's kind of went nuts a little bit, and I cut him some slack for that. But you could see that's one of the reasons why a lot of the players go broke. I mean, you know.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying though. Like, if you're going to do something,
you have to pound that in these guys' head, what kind of opportunity they have, and find other ways to just splurge and not go broke and go crazy.
You can splurge and be cognizant.
Don't you think that's what's going on in his head? You know, go street racing and
oh my goodness. I mean, I remember
having that kind of money at that age. You know,
I remember one time my dad spotted me like $50, and I was like, "Hey, Rob, let's go, man. Let's go grab some double deuces and go."
But when we graduated, a year 2000. A year or two after we graduated, long story short, I flipped. My stepdad was doing work on, he could do contractor work and all that stuff. We basically flipped the house. I bought a house. I had pretty good credit, paying my school loan back, and I netted like almost 20 grand. And dude, I was buying people big Christmas presents, and it was a little minor. Yeah, it was a little minor. I was like kind of seeing 2 chicks at once, and I can understand if you add more zeros to that, right? Yeah, there was. I was dating a couple of girls I met through. Well, I'm telling on myself now, but I'm just trying to say, like, can you imagine if there was a couple more zeros there, right?
Woof. I'm sure
really,
it was nice you thought they were.
That's why that rookie symposium is very important, you know?
Yeah, but then, you know, like, not for nothing, but you know how it happens when you come into new money, man. And it's like,
it's hard to handle it sometimes. You go crazy.
Yeah, and like you could barely manage your meal tickets at college. Like, you're like,
I always ran through my meal plan.
Yeah, like, so like you were using
Chick-fil-A every day for 4 years.
That Polynesian sauce, man.
Oh man, right?
I remember that. You used to take mine, be like,
dude. I mean, and then we'd sit there and talk about sports. Then we're talking 22 years. But it happened with the Georgia players. It happened with Jerome Brown, a guy that used to play for the Eagles back in '92.
Right,
I was watching. He got in a car wreck. He got killed. It was very unfortunate. But it's something about being that age, that kind of money.
But what?
I guess you just had to pound in their head every time you see them. Please don't screw up, son.
I mean,
you got a great opportunity, you know.
You like this whole, like, you know, right in the like they have it in their contracts.
Yeah,
motorcycles, doing the ATV.
Ben Roethlisberger acting like
off
he's
the cliffs. Tom Brady, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's stuff in your contract says that you can't do stuff.
Yeah,
but even if you can't do it and you do it, guess what? There's a penalty for that. I mean, like, you know, like, even if it's on camera, they won't take it to court, but they know that.
Do you think the league should suspend? He's on camera. Some guy had a cell phone camera, and the guy had some like red hat on, and he's trying to cut that. I think that guy was Rashid Rice. Would you suspend him 2 games for making the league look bad, leaving a scene of an accident? People were injured in that accident.
Listen, well, he's going to get whatever consequence from the law, and then the NFL will jump on that.
Okay.
Use that route because they usually do, especially for these kind of incidents and stuff like that.
But where something's on camera like that.
Yeah, I mean, they're like, you know, that's the worst thing. So,
and they do have a symposium, Nick, or Nigel. But my thing is, if I'm a coach, I'm talking at the little mini camps that coming up here shortly. I'm talking at the rookie symposium in the summer. I'm talking at the regular training camp in July. I'm talking here's the real important one before week 1. Because that's when they get their first paycheck for several $1,000s that Tuesday after the game.
You know, one of the things I heard about,
and he says either before an incident occurs or straight after it. That's
they have people.
They really. I know the NFL does, Nigel.
Yeah,
I know they do.
You know, I like what Allen Iverson did. You know what he did?
What?
He was when he was young, right before he got the Reebok contract for the AIs. He literally told his accountant / lawyer was like, listen, his CPA, he's like, I'm not good with money. So
at least he's being honest about it.
Yeah, no. And he said, make this contract the best it can be, you know, and where I have money in the future. And you know what they did was they did like a semi Bobby Bonilla deal where they
where
they had given him so much up front, but they laced it on the back end. And right now, and he had to turn, like, I guess it was after he retired or something, that they would give him the rest of his money. Because he was broke. He was broke for a minute, and now he's got money coming in because of, you know, doing.
I love that story. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I'm gonna try.
I know he partied like a rock star too.
Yeah, AI.
He used to throw big parties with that guy from that '70s show.
Fez.
What's that guy that chicks liked? I think it was Fez, the tall guy, dark-headed, that went with Demi Moore.
Oh no, that was Ashton Kutcher.
Yeah, Kutcher. Yeah.
Not Wilmer Valderrama. With all them guys, they party.
He probably partied with all of them. It really is, Nigel, and it's just when you're young like that, man. And it'd be hard for me. I'm 42, but 22, 23. I mean,
Bobo, this Powerball is about to hit.
Especially if you got a big ego already, like these ball players do.
This Powerball is about to hit over $1 billion, right? Like,
I need to get a quick pick on it. We'll go crazy, man, for one night.
How many people do you think can handle that kind of money, man?
Not many.
Yo, it's such a scam.
Don't let Pac-Man hit that kind of money. Nah, he got in all that trouble in Vegas. He had $70,000 at a strip club.
Didn't he complain because a stripper took his trash bag full of money?
Like, dude, why are you walking around with that kind of money, dude?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Ja Morant, remember he had his issues last year?
Yeah.
But he's at the strip club with all those chicken wings, no shirt on. He done lost his mind, like my dad would say. Oh, well, I hope the best for Rice. I hope he's going to have to. This is going to cost him a lot of money. Hopefully, he'll learn his lesson and get back in there and help. Luckily, they did pick up Hollywood Brown now, so maybe if he gets suspended for a bunch of games, they'll still have him some help there at the wideout position. You going to be back on Are You Serious? I didn't see you this week. Was y'all off this week?
Yeah, well, Keith had some issues to deal with, and then we're gonna pause Are You Serious? And he's gonna start an interview show. So nice to see about what I'm gonna do for a morning show. I used the What the Fork Ball just to do because I haven't been on for a minute on Tuesdays this morning, and I did that show instead.
Oh, I think I saw you on there. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so
I was flipping through the little YouTube stuff. Yeah.
So I'm just trying to get some stuff done, trying to get everything reorganized. It's been a tough beginning of the year for me and my family, but you got to make it happen, man.
Hey, man, same here. That big tax bill coming up next week. I've got the money, but geez,
we might be getting something back, but
Hey, man, you're going to hit that Powerball. I hope you still come on SportsScope, invest in the program.
My man, I'll buy in SportsScope.
You get dinner next time. We'll buy out the bar at Outback, okay? In Clarksville.
We'll buy Outback, son. $1 billion.
Carlos, Mad New Yorker, Chavez, it's always fun. Hope to see you next week. Now, remember, in a couple of weeks now, folks, if you're still down, we're going to do that draft show Thursday, April 25th. We're talking 2 weeks from Thursday, Chief.
Yeah, April 25th. And I'm gonna ring you up. I'm gonna be heading down to the South in a few months.
Appreciate it, Nigel.
Thank you, Nigel.
With some 5-star chicks. With the Marvin Harrisons.
Low.
All right, brother. Have a good night, man. Enjoy the games tonight. Watch some women's basketball. I'm going to get my Caitlin Clark on here in just a few minutes here.
Put some bets on it. DraftKings, man.
Exactly. Or FanDuel.
No.